On today's episode of the Cryptoverse, you're never going to believe this, but the Canadian government has gone all bullish on privacy. There's now a definitive list of apps that you can log into with your Steem account. The UK government has finally published comprehensive tax information for individuals who hold crypto assets. I've managed to figure out the BTCPAY server and accidentally become my own payment processor. Excellent news. We'll also do a market roundup segment including the LiteCoin flappening, why that's a total lie, and we'll look at yet another one of my trades from yesterday, which lasted a total of 6 hours and ended up with a 3% gain. So timestamps for all of that are down in the video description if you wish to skip ahead. Now, did you know that you can earn daily cryptocurrency rewards for tuning into the Cryptoverse? If not, then you might want to check out the website, which is thecryptoverse.show. My Patreon supporters who have been earning these daily crypto rewards during the bear market are going to really feel the benefit if these crypto prices picking up continue. So if you tune in regularly, do the right thing, become a patron, get rid of the ads, and earn daily cryptocurrency rewards for a total win-win. For now, though, we're going to get into the content. So, the Canadian Office of the Privacy Commissioner has put out a new advisory document designed to keep the amount of personal information that is recorded to a minimum. So this is regards to like transactions, and it's specific to cannabis transactions. So check this out. The stated purpose, which I've highlighted in red here, it says cannabis is illegal in most jurisdictions outside of Canada, even though it was, approved as legal in Canada 17th of October 2018. It says the personal information of cannabis users is therefore very sensitive. For example, some countries may deny entry to individuals if they know that they have purchased cannabis even lawfully, right? So you purchase cannabis lawfully in Canada where it is legal, and then you go through customs, and then they go, you're a cannabis buyer, no thank you, you're not allowed in. So this is why privacy of personal information is important, and why the Canadian Office of the Privacy Commissioner has issued this guidance. So, only the bare minimum information should be collected, and only what is absolutely necessary for the transaction. For example, you might flash your driving license, right, to prove your age, but that information doesn't need to be recorded, does it? You only need to flash your driving license to authorize that specific transaction. But here's the part where they suggest to use cash, right? So back to the old advisory document, it says advice from the Commissioner for Purchases. It says if you are concerned about using credit cards and the option is available, consider using cash to purchase cannabis. Now, by their very nature, credit card transactions, they involve the recording of more personal information than I am personally comfortable with. But, cannabis is illegal in the UK for recreational use anyway, but I'm just talking about privacy in general. But what's the ultimate solution for the cannabis industry? What's the ultimate solution for the Canadian Privacy Commissioner? What's the ultimate solution they're looking for? You've guessed it, cryptocurrencies, the ultimate private currency. So, Commissioner of the Privacy Office of Canada, if you're watching this, please investigate cryptocurrency as a possible solution to this problem. Next story. A new resource for everyone out there who has a Steem account. There is a new resource. This site has launched recently. It's steamapps.com. So this site has the goal of providing a single place that will display all of the apps. You can see there's like 30 odd of them. All of the apps that are built on the Steem blockchain. And because they are blockchain-based apps, there's no sign up, right? You just log into any one of them using your existing Steem account. So it's kind of like log in with Facebook without the gross privacy violations. So that's actually one of my personal favorite features of this whole decentralized application movement. The fact that you can have like a single EOS account or a single Ethereum account and thereby log into any and all EOS applications or any and all Ethereum applications just by signing, creating a digital signature, and you are in. On to the next story. Official rules on taxing crypto assets in the UK has been published by Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs. That's the equivalent of the IRS, by the way, for those of you in the United States. So this is on the official government website, gov.uk, tax on crypto assets. So this is a bit of a monster publication, to be quite frankly with you, but I discovered while researching in today's video, I actually stumbled upon this during the research phase, and as I began to read it, it became apparent that there was no way I was going to get through it in any reasonable amount of time, and even then, even if I did get through it, I wasn't confident I would be able to provide some decent analysis and commentary. So that means I haven't fully digested the contents, so take this as me just raising awareness that it exists and inviting you to check it out. While we might not like getting taxed, I appreciate how comprehensive this is, because now we are getting very clear on where we stand, right? If we have to have regulation, if we have to have tax, then at least, please, governments and regulators, make it absolutely clear what the rules are, right? Ideally, we would like no rules, right? That's ideal. But secondly, clear rules, right? And the worst of the three would be not being clear on the rules. That's the absolute worst situation, which is where we've been for so long. So that's why I appreciate the clarity. Now, I dare say this will also provide inspiration for other tax authorities around the world on how to treat crypto assets, because they go through everything, right? Including the three major categories of exchange, utility, and security tokens. That's the three broad categories. It describes when income tax applies and when capital gains tax applies. It deals with mining, airdrops, forks, trading, record keeping, inheritance, and more. Now, if I can find the time, what I really need to do with this is record like a monster podcast of me actually reading through it word for word and then providing commentary. Let me know if that's of value to you, because I need to be able to gauge demand. If I'm going to commit that kind of energy to something, I really need to know that there's people are going to consume it and derive value from it. So finally, the key detail about this publication is that the tax that applies depends on how the particular crypto asset is being used in each case. That is, rather than the tax applying based on how the crypto is categorized, right? Now, this is interesting, because this is the problem that regulators have been having with crypto assets. Let's just use Bitcoin. They're like, is it a currency? Is it like a commodity? Is it a currency? Oh my goodness, what is it? Is it a security? Well, it depends, right? It's kind of like a chameleon in the sense that it's any or all of them, depending on how it's being used. If I pay for something, it's a currency. If I use it as a store of value, then it's kind of a commodity, right? Who knows, right? So the UK tax authorities here have been pretty smart by saying, okay, whatever state Bitcoin is in, based on its usage, that's what applies in terms of the tax code. So interesting. So that's smart on their part. It's just a case of, record keeping is going to be a hell of a problem. So let's see how this pans out. Next story. There was a time when Coinbase adding a new token was a big deal, and also it used to be a rare event. Now it seems to be pretty routine. In fact, now tokens are even being added in batches. So one of my trusty sources here, the Crypto Globe, Coinbase Pro supports a second stablecoin, which is DAI. They're adding the Maker token, Golem, Zilliqa, and so on. Now, the only one I'm really interested in here, personally, is the DAI stablecoin. And in fact, from the inside of my Coinbase Pro account, this is what it looks like right now at time of recording. The only instance I can see of DAI on the Coinbase Pro is a single market where it's actually going to be trading against the USDC stablecoin. Now remember, USDC is collateralized one-for-one with a real US dollar in the bank account of Circle or Coinbase. But remember that the DAI stablecoin is actually collateralized on-chain by Ether, a model I much prefer and I trust a lot more. Because you can prove the reserves on-chain, right? You can prove that there is this much Ether. It's like 150% collateral, I think it is, up to 300%. And you can check that on-chain with the smart contracts, which you can't do with the USDC stablecoin, right? Which is why I don't particularly like fiat collateralized stablecoins. There we go. So we'll see how this plays out. The market isn't even open yet. They're waiting for liquidity to build and all the rest of it. So hopefully Coinbase Pro will list DAI against all of the other assets rather than just the USDC. On to the next story. One final announcement before we do a quick market roundup. You know, remember I said yesterday at the end of the show that the GAB payment blockade, which included its payment processors like Coinbase Commerce and BitPay, closing their account, I said that had almost spooked me into setting up my own BTCPAY server, right? The open source payment processing software. Well, as I began to research it last night, kind of casually, the snowball kind of rolled down the hill, and in the process of researching and trying to figure it out, I actually ended up completing the entire process of setting up my very own BTCPAY server, and I actually got it working. I thought, well, got this far, so I may as well use it, right? So let me show you it. Here it is. This is what your BTCPAY server looks like after you've installed it and got it all set up and so on. Now, this means that Cryptoversity has suddenly become its own payment processor with absolutely no middlemen. So no BitPay, no Coinbase Commerce, no coinpayments.net, none of them, right? So just me, the customer, and the Bitcoin network in the middle. Just the way it should be. So what I showed you on the screen here, what's on the screen right now is these two progress bars in the bottom right hand corner that show that my server is currently in the process of downloading its own full copy of the Bitcoin and the LiteCoin blockchain. Once that's done, and that's been going for about 12 hours now, so it's taken a little bit of time. And what's Bitcoin at right now? After 12 hours, about 49%, LiteCoin at 25%. It's using a lot of CPU on the server, let me tell you that right now. But once this is done, I'll be accepting LiteCoin, Bitcoin, and get this, Lightning Network payments, since I've also set up an LND node on the server as well. I'm even going to open up crypto payments for memberships as an experiment. So we know you can't really easily do recurring crypto payments right now, right? Because it's cash, you have to hand it over. So what this means, I'm going to experiment with this. I'm going to take the risk. So this means you'll be able to pay for like a 30-day membership to Cryptoversity, and then a month later, the system's going to cut you off, right? And then you can make another cash payment if you want to extend your membership for another 30 days, and so on. So pretty sweet. So not really sure how this is going to work out, but the only way to figure this stuff out is to try it. You know me, I'm always on the leading edge. Remember the mission statement, leading people to freedom through education and awareness. That first word I chose very carefully. If I say leading, it means I go first, right? I have to blaze the trail, do all the trial and error, and once I've led, I can say, hey, this is the way to go. So I'll try it out. Actually, this is one of the projects I'm most excited about right now, and actually came by accident because I covered the GAB payment blockade, and I was using BitPay up until yesterday, and I was like, I'm going to have to use this BTCPay server situation. And now I know that, now I can share it with others and evangelize moving away from these crypto payment processors and becoming sovereign payment processors. Let's use that phrase. Really excited about this. On to the next story. We're going to go on to the market analysis now. So I've been skipping this segment for a while. You may have noticed that. Well, because there was nothing significant to say or to report on. So now I've got something to say. It's back. So let's begin with, I'm going to use CoinMarketCap, but I'm not going to read through it like most people do. There was a lot of excitement the other day about the flattening, which is, where LiteCoin's market cap was greater than Bitcoin Cash. However, that has now gone the other way. Bitcoin Cash is now the 6th most capitalized coin by market cap, and LiteCoin is the 8th most capitalized coin by market cap. So that looks bad, right? Until you remember that market cap is a total lie. And instead, you look at how many people actually want to buy each coin to see the truth, which we will now do. So here we jolly well go. If we look at the actual buy support across the various exchanges, let's have a look at LiteCoin here. Here it is. LiteCoin is actually the 5th most in-demand crypto with $7.7 million of buy support across 33 different markets. By contrast, Bitcoin Cash is all the way down here at 13th position. So it's the 13th most in-demand crypto by actual buy support And we know that because only $2.4 million of buy support exists across 17 exchanges. So this is actual people putting actual buy orders on exchange order books, right? And there we go. LiteCoin has more than triple the amount of money grabbing to buy coins versus Bitcoin Cash. And there are actually twice as many markets, so that's the truth about the market. Now, it's no surprise that, Bitcoin is number one. Let's just go back here to the buy support. Bitcoin is number one, as always. Today it has $176 million of buy support. However, that's like half of what it was before this most recent rally kicked off, meaning this rally has actually gobbled up a whole bunch of buy orders. Actually, it's about half what it was about a week ago. It was up at $350 million of buy support, and now the rally's gone. It's just ripped through the buy order book, and this is where we're at now with about half the buy support that there was. The reason that's important is because in order for the rally to continue, this buy support needs to be maintained as the price rises, which isn't really happening so far. But to be fair, this rally has only just kicked off. So this is why I keep a close eye on the order books. I want to see buy support picking up as the price rises, because that's going to fuel the fire, right? In terms of trades, I did another one yesterday. So here's a little screenshot from my trading journal of a second trade that I took. I told you that I traded this big pump candle, but I sold too soon. But it was a good trade nonetheless because I followed all of my own rules, traded in the direction of the trend, and so on. Once we broke the downtrend, though, I thought, okay, I'm gonna trade long instead. So we ran all the way up to we broke this resistance, right? And then we found the next level of resistance right up here. So this trade was a 3% winner on Bitcoin against the British pound. And I walked my patrons through this yesterday by posting these periodic screenshots as it played out. And this is actually the final one, which showed the overall results. Now, if you join the private chat group today, you can just scroll back and see each of the screenshots that I posted in real time. Now, as I said, once we broke the resistance, which was around the 27.50 mark, this is in British pounds, we then found another level of resistance. And I thought, okay, this is a channel. So I'm going to trade this. I'm going to trade in between it. So I put in a new entry. It says a new entry to a 27.56, which I did once it rallied right up to the new level of resistance. And then when it came down, I was in the trade on these two candles here at around 11, 12 o'clock London time. And then I put in my sell order, limit order at the opening and closing prices of the previous highs here. And then, 6 hours later, boom, I was taken out of the trade for a 3% profit. Looking again at what happened after that, so after I was out of the trade for a 3% profit, 3 more hourly candles appeared. And I looked at this and I thought, I could trade this again. I could just do exactly the same thing. Place a new buy order at 27.56, place a new sell order at 28.42, and basically do exactly the same thing for another 3% gain. Now, what I don't take unnecessary risks. So if I can't manage the trade in a concentrated way, I will just pull out and have no risk on the table. So I actually wanted to go and make dinner last night. So after those 3 candles appeared, I thought, well, I'm going to have to step away from the computer. So I actually cancelled both of these orders. So I didn't take that second trade for potentially another 3% gain. Now, as it turns out, let's now look at the live charts about what actually happened next. Here we go, over to TradingView for the live analysis. As it turns out, this would have easily made another 3% on exactly the same trade. In fact, this one would have been more like a 10% winner. But again, how often do I say this? Like, professional traders and professional investors focus more on limiting losses than they do on making profits. That sounds counterintuitive, but that's why it works, and that's why only the minority of traders and investors actually make money long term. Most people are looking at the wrong end of the stick. Most people are focusing on making gains and are not paying attention to limiting risk and limiting losses, which is actually the secret to building wealth. But that is all I've got for you today. If you like this episode, go ahead and hit that like button. If you really liked it, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to learn how to do all that fancy technical analysis trading stuff that I just showed you, then check out my online course. It's called The Master Crypto Trader. You can check it out at cryptoasset.school. If you go there, click on Learn, and then check out the Master Crypto Trader course. In fact, the way Cryptoverse works is you just pay a one monthly low tuition fee, and you get access to everything anyway. So whether you want just the Master Crypto Trader course, you're going to get access to everything anyway. So check that out. Links down in the show notes, as always. But I will be back with the next episode of the Cryptoverse. So until then, it's me, Chris Coney, saying bye for now.